Hello. I see you there. I do. I'm almost here. I promise. I'm just I'm running a little behind. Okay. I think. Yes. All right. We're doing eggplant parm because I can't talk. I can't talk. Yes. Oh, I need to refill this. Yes, in the midst of my life, I need to refill this because I'm running behind. Oh, okay. Alrighty. Are we here? You're here. Somebody's here. Okay, so we're doing eggplant parm. We're just doing the eggplant part because you're going to put sauce on it and you're going to put cheese on it. It isn't that hard. But the eggplant part is the part that gets people. Now, these are all sliced ish a half inch thick. Ish. They don't have to be perfect. And then they're salted. They're on a wire rack, and you can kind of see how it kind of glistens. Part of that's the salt, part of that's the moisture coming out of it, and you can see it's starting to turn a little brown. Instead of being, well, I guess there is no white, it's all just kind of brown. That's the water and the bitterness coming out of the eggplant. It makes the eggplant better. And now I did get a new pan. It's the same rack, but a clean pan because this is going to end up going in the oven. So we're going to fry these up. We're going to 3-stage bread them. Once they're fried, they're going to go back on the rack, and then they're going to go in the oven and sit for probably about a half hour to finish off in the oven. It'll pull out any remaining moisture, and it'll help crisp up that coating so it doesn't, or keep it crispy so it doesn't get soggy from the moisture in your eggplant. Just like you would if you were cooking fried chicken. You're going to cook the crust, but you're not actually going to cook the interior all the way without burning the crust. That's why you put them in a preheated oven on a rack. You don't want them on a sheet pan because they'll sit in oil and the bottom will get soggy. You want them on an actual rack. I see you too, sorta. But so we have our flour, which is just AP flour, salt, pepper, and a tablespoon of Italian dry herb seasoning. Just because I want that extra flavor. You don't have to put that. You can put more. You could put garlic powder, onion powder, all those things. Um, it's seasoned flour. You want to season it with whatever you want. But remember, it's got to work well with eggplant, and it has to work good with your spaghetti sauce. So that's why I went salt, pepper, and Italian herb blend, because it'll work. Egg wash. It's just egg and fucking water. It's egg wash. Our breadcrumb. This is an Italian seasoned breadcrumb. 2 parts breadcrumb. 1 part grated or shredded fresh Parmesan. And that doesn't mean it comes in a little plastic container with a green lid. It doesn't come from the cooler section that it comes pre-grated. No. Grate it yourself because I'm not frying with wood pulp. And that's what they put on the cheese. That powdery stuff, it's wood pulp. It keeps the cheese from sticking together. That's what you're eating. I have enough fiber in my diet. I don't need to eat any, wood fiber. So 2 parts breadcrumb, 1 part parm. So you do 2/3 of a cup of breadcrumbs. You're going to do 1/3 of a cup of Parmesan cheese. And, I mean, you can see in here, In my hand, those grates. I just sat here and grated all this parm. I can tell you because there's the cut on my hand where I missed. The deep fryer is set up and heating up at 325 degrees. So, I'm going to double check the temperature here. I can't speak today. 325 degrees. It is ready to fry. So, we're going to get to breading. We're going to bread them. We're going to set them right here. We're going to let them cure up for a second. And we're going to move over and we're going to put them in the deep fryer. Once they go in the deep fryer, we're going to fry them 3 to 5 minutes. Straight out of the deep fryer, back onto the other side of the rack so they can sit, and we fry the rest, and they all go in the oven. While they're in the oven, we'll discuss the finish prep for them. We will not be building the entire dish. If you don't know how to boil spaghetti, this is too advanced for you. If you can't open a jar of sauce, or you haven't seen my recipe for sauce, sucks to be you. I guess I'm kidding. I mean, sorta. There are several people that follow me that did get to see the spaghetti sauce recipe, and I may do it publicly one time, but I haven't yet. I did it on a private tutorial. If you missed that, you should have been a supporter on Clapper. Any questions so far? From the 4 people that are watching. Okay. Put all this over here. Now, flour. Get the sides, get the top, the bottom. You want the whole thing to be covered in flour, but you don't want a lot of excess flour, right? Then we're going to go into our egg wash. With the other hand, flip that over. You can see the nice herbs and everything on here. Breadcrumb. Once again, back to this hand. Breadcrumb and parm. And we're going to make sure that we get it packed on nice and tight. We want a good crust on our eggplant. Don't mess with the crust on the actual eggplant too much. We're just going to use our hand, put the crumb over. Yeah, Planko. God. Lightly tap it. Give it a little shake. We're going to set it off to the side. And repeat. Just like we do with everything else we fry. And this one hand method here, where I'm using one hand dry, one hand wet, this is a basic culinary thing to do. It's so you don't end up with coated ass fingers and you're not pulling the breading off whatever you're breading. In this case, eggplant. Like I said, you see I'm spinning it on its end. You want to make sure you get flour everywhere. If you don't, the egg won't stick. If the egg doesn't stick, then the breadcrumb won't stick. And then you just end up with fried eggplant. You don't have eggplant parm. Do you want eggplant parm? Or do you want fried eggplant? Well, I mean, technically, Sherry, the stuff that they put in there, it's called an anti-caking agent. What it is wood fiber. It's super fine sawdust. And they put it on your cheese to prevent it from clumping together while it's in storage in the baggies. That's why I don't ever buy pre-grated cheese. Oh my God, Sherry, you better call your daughter. None what? None fried yet? No, we're breading them all, and while we bread them, we're going to set them back on this rack here, and it'll allow the crust to actually form, and it'll give us a better hold when we go to deep fry it. I mean, this is pretty basic stuff here. Now, you can put this in the freezer, the breadcrumb mix with the Parmesan, in an airtight container, in this container even, and use it for future projects. So you don't have to make a batch every single time you want to make. Well, yeah, that's why you do it this way. Dry hand, wet hand. Dry hand for flour and breadcrumb. Wet hand for the egg. But like I said, the breadcrumb parm mix, if you don't want to have to make a batch up every single time, you can put it in an airtight bag, or an airtight container, or in a Ziploc bag. Yes, I did. This is peeled and sliced about an inch thick, salted, and let sit in the fridge for about 6 hours. And see here, we'll go over here. See how it's starting to turn brown? As opposed to that white color you're used to on eggplant? That's the moisture coming out. But yeah, you peel it, slice it, salt, on a rack, in the fridge, uncovered, 8 hours. Pull it out, pat it dry, paper towel or tea towel or whatever you're going to use. 3-stage bread. Damn. And we're going to bread them all. And then we'll clean up our breading mess. And we will start deep frying. But as I've tried to say a couple times, I asked a question? I said, is there any questions in regards to what we've done so far? I don't see a lag. I mean, there's a delay on YouTube. That's not a lag, that's a delay. Twitch is a 3-second, YouTube is a 10-second. This here, so I can sit this here. Whoa, definitely don't want that to happen. I think we're good there, maybe. Okay, there, I'm washing my hands, I'm moving a camera. Gotta wipe this little bit of mess up here. Oh, shit. Technically, I'm getting paid to be here. I'm going to take my time. And, I mean, cleaning up now, taking that couple seconds to wipe this up while it's dry will make it a lot easier than cleaning it up once the oil sprays all over the place and perma-bonds it to my countertop. So we're going to go over here, and like I said, we're going to be using the same pan. So we're going to take these here and we're going to start frying them. I'll switch cameras, obviously. And then on this side, once they're fried, we'll set them over here so they can drain. And then the whole thing goes in the oven. So let me grab my tongs, throw this wipe in the trash, and we can get to frying. Here's a pair of my tongs. Well, I guess I should say metal tongs. Make sure that you're using metal tongs, not vinyl or poly-coated tongs in your deep fryer, so you don't end up melting the vinyl. Even if it's heat safe, that's a hot ass fryer, and it can melt the plastic. Alright, let's switch over cameras here. There we go, the deep fryers. So, we're just going to set these in here. Careful, because it is fucking hot, obviously. These are going to pop and crackle a little, because there is still moisture in them. And you see, they're going to float. This is why we have metal tongs. 335, 325, right around in there. Oh, the transition? Yeah, I downloaded that. But the setup for everything, I programmed all that. Alright, now you won't be able to see it, but on the edges it'll start to brown. We're going to do about 2.5, 3 minutes aside. But you'll be able to see while you're doing it that the edges will start to get a little crisp. The flat outer edge. And that's when we're going to roll them over. We'll have a nice crust on the bottom. We'll be able to cook the top, and we'll get the top side cooked as well. You can see a little bit. Let me turn this light down some. So I know it's super bright and the white out on this freaking camera again. Jeez. I'm so tired of these program constantly doing this. Yeah, every time. That's one too high. Here we go. We're getting better. I know I'm playing with this, and I'm right to where I need to be for this thing to flip over. So we're going to flip these real quick. Yeah, you can see the difference in the color there now. Okay. And it's not whitewashed out. Over here. That hue is... That's a little better. Okay, let's see. Yes. But you had to fry them a lot higher temp. You'd have to pre-fry them to set the crust. Probably around 4 1/4. I'm just letting these drain. Now, I'm not going to salt these because the Parmesan has a lot of salt in it. No. What I was talking about freezing is the breadcrumbs. If you freeze the breadcrumbs with the Parmesan in them, you can use it again so that you don't end up having to remake Parmesan breadcrumbs every single time you want to do a chicken or an eggplant parm or a veal parm, anything of that nature. These, once they're fried, not at this temp, if we turn this up to 400, if we turn the deep fryer up to 400 and we flash fried them for about 2 minutes each, on a minute each side, and we set that crust without cooking the internal, we could then put them in the freezer and let them freeze. Once they're frozen, you'll be able to put them directly into an air fryer, cook them up, then top them with your cheese, melt your cheese. Then you can put them with your pasta and your sauce, or just your sauce, however you're going to have it. I just didn't want you wasting a bunch of Parmesan and breadcrumbs because Parmesan isn't cheap. Even if you buy the cheap stuff, it's a 7-ounce wedge for like $6. That's not cheap. As these are here, as the ones that I'm making are fully cooked, are going to be fully cooked, I wouldn't freeze these because the internal is already soft. And when you recook it, you're just going to end up with something soggy. But if you, like I said, if you flash fry them at 400, just to set the crust, immediately drained them and froze them, yes, you can rewatch. This is available on Twitch and TikTok, or Twitch and YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. If you're on Twitch, you can just hit the follow button. I'm not allowed to have subscribers yet. I don't have enough followers and I don't have enough view time. Oh, absolutely, Peggy. I did. Oh, wait and see here. Over here. These. No, kinda. We'll go back to the prep cam. Um, it is 2 parts breadcrumb to 1 part grated or shredded Parmesan cheese. I don't use bag. I explain why I don't use bag. I explain why I don't use bottle, because I don't eat wood fiber. I have enough fiber in my diet. I don't need to get it from wood. And Peggy, you have enough wood in your diet. You don't need to get it from your cheese. And like I said, we're just going to do the eggplant. I'm not going to put it on a plate with sauce and spaghetti right now because we're not eating this early here. So I do the eggplant. I can put it in the oven. I can have it all ready to go. Right before we eat, I can turn the heat up, put the cheese on, broil it over the top. And we'll call it a day. Over here getting my nicotine on. Alright, so we're going to go back over here to the prep cam because... Alright, so we can see here. There is quite a bit of oil in these. Eggplant's like mushrooms. It's kind of like a sponge. That's why it's on a rack. So when it's in the oven, the oil will continue to cook out and drain down. I mean, it's already, you can see here where the puddles are. That's coming out of the eggplant. Get the rest of these out of the deep fryer. Now, I said earlier I am not going to salt these because there's a lot of salt in the parm, and you're not going to taste it, especially when you put cheese and sauce on it. But you can see here, this is where we're at. These go right in the oven just like this. Should be at 4 to 4 1/4 in your oven if you're going to eat right now. Preheat your oven so they're in there going in warm. Now they're in the oven 400 to 425 depending on how many you have on there. If you're like Sherry, if you're making for everyone, you want 4 1/4 because they're going to be closer packed on your rack. If you got a little more room between your pieces, 400's fine. And they're going to be in there for about 20 to 25 minutes. Let all the oil cook off. Let them get nice and crisp. 20, 25 minutes later, you're going to take them out. We're going to top them with our mozzarella. Now, let's discuss cheese again, all right? Now, let me walk over to my fridge. I need to walk over here so I can grab this so I can show you. Okay, when I say mozzarella, this is mozzarella. This is whole milk, fresh mozzarella. This is what you will be putting on your eggplant parm. You will take about an 1/8 thick slice of this. You will set it on top of your eggplant. You will put it in your oven under broil, and it'll melt this and it'll get nice and bubbly on top, preserving the crust on your eggplant and making it cheesy. Then you will place that on top of your spaghetti and your sauce. You don't put any sauce on top of your eggplant. It'll make it soggy. Then we go back to the other thing, Parmesan. This is how you should buy your Parmesan. It doesn't have to be in, this thin of a wedge. It doesn't have to be this big of a piece. But this is Parmesan. You take the Parmesan and you get a grater or a box grater or a plain grater or a shredder or anything, and you use this wedge and you turn that into the Parmesan you're going to use. This is what you need. This is what we're cooking with. Okay, these right here. Mozzarella, Parmesan. That shit that's in the freaking craft pack or the store brand pack. That's not, it's cheese, but it's not as good a cheese. Spend the dollar extra. Buy the good mozzarella. This here is a little bit more, but it is worth it. The flavor is better. There's no fillers. You're getting what you pay for. Spend $5 on a thing with a green lid, fine, but it's not going to taste anywhere near as good as the $7 you spend on this, which is, it's 8 ounces. It's only 2 ounces less, and it's all cheese. Now to the breadcrumb thing. Yes, I did grate my own Parmesan. You can kind of see the flakes in there, Parmesan, even after I did all that. 2 parts breadcrumb, 1 part grated parm. This here can put a lid on this and it can go right into the freezer and it can be used again. It'll last 2 or 3 months in your freezer without going bad. Even with that bit of egg that's in there. That's why we're going to freeze it. When you go to use it, just pull it out. Leave the lid on or in the bag or whatever you're going to put it in. Give it a good shake. Make sure it's all loosened up and start breading with it. You don't even have to let it thaw. But yeah, cheese, please, people, really. Real cheese. No fake cheese. No packaged, pre-grated, pre-shredded cheese. It hurts my soul. So many people eat bag cheese. I mean, we could go over to my fridge and we could look at all the cheese that's in there. The only cheese that's in a bag isn't actually cheese. Or that came in a bag. It's faux cheese for my significant other who is lactose intolerant. Yeah. So, this won't be going on hers. This will go on mine. This goes on hers. Parmesan is a slow-aged cheese. It's a long-aged cheese. So a lot of the lactose that would affect you is already gone out of here. So if you're lactose intolerant, Parmesan, Romano, these are your friends. Mozzarella, not so much. But they do sell alternatives that you can use. I'm not going to make them for you. I'm not. I will not. I refuse. Yep, I refuse. I'm just waiting for this to cook. I'm not making anything else. I'm gonna show you the eggplant when it comes out. Once it comes out of the oven, and share. You have my sauce recipe. You could share it with a few people if you wanted, but yeah, we'll just say that it starts with stewed whole San Marzana only tomatoes, and it builds from there. The recipe that I use, with a few modifications, came from a 50-year-old retired military man who he's second generation Italian. His mother was first generation. What, the difference in the cheeses? Why do we use mozzarella and Parmesan? This is an American thing. This really doesn't add any flavor. It just gives you that cheese pull. So when you put it on top of your chicken or your eggplant and you heat it up and it gets nice and melty and you run it under the broiler, it'll give you that stretch. Gives you that. It's just that Americanized thing. Well, I mean, if you made a good sauce and you breaded it right, you're really not going to taste a big difference. Yeah, if you're lactose intolerant, like I said, you don't have to put it on. But they also have fake cheese. There's no lactose in it. So, I mean, I do not have mozzarella in there right now. But you can go right in the cooler section at most of your big box stores, and they will have vegan alternative cheese. It is 100% lactose free. A lot of the bigger stores have lactose free real cheese. I don't know how that works, but hey, more power to you. I'm sure that will be more available as more snowflakes grow up, and I can't have bread kind of thing. Yeah. We shall win the war against the snowflakes by simply launching whole grain bread and peanut butter at them. If that doesn't work, we'll throw in some grilled cheese too. They'll be on the toilet forever. Eggplant is looking good. I have the temperature up a little bit so that I can get them nice and toasty and I can show you, and then we can move on with our day. I don't know why I put that cheese away. I can't show you a bubbly piece of eggplant parm without the cheese to make it all bubbly, can I? I just do a little piece. And obviously, when you finish it, you can add more Parmesan on top. Peggy, the coleslaw recipe is up. I posted that today. The whole recipe is up, video and all. So there you go. There we go. Now this is real mozzarella, so there is water in here because that's how they make your mozzarella. You don't have to cut this. You could just pull this. I mean, it's already pulling apart. But I'm going to this off. This is what I'm gonna taste test. Yep, that's definitely whole fresh mozzarella. And this is going to go right on our, you see here. Oh, here you go. That's about a 1/4 inch, give or take. Put this in a Ziploc bag. It'll last about a week. In the fridge. Okay, grab my tongs here. Oh, we're going to turn on the kitchen light. Let's see one of these. Okay. Alright. So this is smoking hot, but we can see how it's starting to bubble. And the oil, ooh, is starting to leach out of the bottom. Oh, absolutely. You can taste the difference there. So, we're going to take this here. We're just going to put our mozzarella on there. And I'm going to put this. If don't do that. You'll burn yourself. And I'm going to put this in the oven so to melt the cheese. So you can see what we're working with here. Trust in your tongs. Use a spatula. You know, that kind of stuff. Don't go grabbing things like I do. I have nearly any feeling at all in my fingers and my hands anymore. It probably burnt. Did I notice? No. If it gets hot enough, do I? Oh yeah, eventually, because it starts to smell. You know, because my hand starts to cook. But, yeah, there's that. You know, 350 degree oil. That burns. I noticed that. You know, something that's hot enough to give me a blister. I got stung. You can kind of see the bruise there on my hand. That big brown circle. I got stung. 3 days ago, was it? Yeah, 3 days ago. I didn't notice that I got stung and my hand was swollen until I washed my hands off and I was drying them. And I was like, oh, that doesn't belong there. That's how little feeling I have left in my hands. I don't want you hurting yourself. I care about y'all. I don't want you to die. Because if y'all weren't here and y'all got dead, then, I mean, or injured severely, who would I talk to while I cook? Because Bree doesn't care. Bree doesn't want to cook with me because I yell at her. She doesn't. She's not a very good sous chef. Don't give me that look. No, you can't. It is 7:50. You cannot nap. If you nap now, you'll get up tomorrow.
What do you want? No, you don't want back outside.
I want you to touch my butt and buy me tacos.
You want water? You just want attention.
No, she probably needs water. I mean, I'm sure she wants attention too because she's been hiding in her damn room all day. Ooh, I don't know who all's here. We got Peggy, we got Sam, we got Sherry. Who else is here? Well, you know, whatever. The merch store has been updated with my 80s retro merch. Because, you know, fucking love it. Can you feel the sarcasm? That was sarcasm. Lots of sarcasm because I hated the fucking 80s. You know, the 80s merch is there. If you're interested. It is hoodie season. I have my shiny OnlyPants hoodie. I don't have it on because, you know, cooking. But, yeah. And my new shirt. And I have 2 more shirts on the way. And, you know, we can all get a good look at what they turned out like. Let's see what our piece of eggplant with cheese looks like right now. Here we go. It's starting to get there. Do me a favor. Walk out there into that bin and grab me the heat gun. Please. To your right, right there underneath the workbench in that bin. I don't want to turn the broiler on, so we're going to kitchen trick this to get the cheese nice and charred and bubbly. Thank you. You're going to hear a loud noise here in a minute, folks, because I'm going to turn on my heat gun and bubble this up real quick. Or maybe you won't hear a loud noise. Alrighty then. Our faux broiled eggplant parm. Okay. So we're going to melt the cheese in the oven and we're going to place it under the broiler. We're going to end up with something that looks like this. The cheese is melting down the side. You can see all the nice little brown bits. I did it with a heat gun, which is acceptable. They have torches, salamanders, all those things. I have a high-powered heat gun, so there you go. And then we got... Hold on. Let me do this right here. Let's go down here. Yeah, look. Hold on. You're going to love this. Did you hear the crunch? I had to share the crunchy with you. Because even with it being covered in cheese, it's still crunchy. And then, I mean, this is why you put the mozzarella on. I mean, look at that. You're going to get that beautiful, ooey, gooey. I'm going to leave that on there. And then you had all that sauce, and with that pasta and this, and... See. It's not done yet. You can see how soft that interior is and how crisp that bottom still is. Just a sample. There's no sauce, there's no spaghetti. That all comes later. I will post a quick little vid on Instagram. So follow me on my Instagram. You'll be able to see pictures of what I cook before the videos even hit the internet. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My hands don't notice when it's hot, but my mouth does. Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Sherry. Yes, if you're not following me, you are missing out. Um, I posted a picture on my clapper of my boiled dinner from last night. And someone goes, "Oh, that isn't very fancy." I was like, "Yeah, well, not everything can be fancy. It's nostalgia." So, to be a smartass, I made cloud eggs and I posted that picture on there to shut him up because it was just me being petty. It wasn't a hateful thing. It was just being petty. Well, I don't know. I mean, it just depends on who your mama was. If it's like Sherry's instance, I'm showing her a whole bunch her mama was wrong about. Yes, broke people food matter. All right, last bite. Like I said, 25 minutes, 4 and a quarter after it's fried. You have a beautiful creamy eggplant with a crispy exterior. Put the cheese on it in the hot oven. Give it about 5 minutes. Let the cheese start to melt. Kick it up to broil. Give it a few minutes just till the cheese starts to bubble. Pull it out and you'll be ready to serve it with your favorite sauce, on pasta, by itself, however you want it. I mean, what did I eat? I ate a piece of eggplant parm that you have to go back and watch the repeat. If you pre-fry it, Chris, just like we were talking earlier about the wings, if you fry it 400 to 4 1/4, set that crust and then put them in the freezer, you will be able to put them in the air fryer. I don't know how long to cook them. I've never done it. Minnesota Steve, yes. It's Minnesota Steve. And like I said, This recipe works with the exception of the baking part with chicken, cutlets, veal, any type of breaded protein that you're going to do as a Parmesan. Use this method. You're going to pound those thin so you won't have to bake them. Crust them, deep fry them, drain them. Keep them warm in your oven. When you're ready to serve, put your mozzarella on top and broil your mozzarella. And you'll be good to go. The re-cooking or the cooking a second time only applies to the eggplant parm. If you don't, the eggplant tends to get soggy. And nobody wants soggy eggplant parm. You want that nice little crisp bite from your eggplant. It gives you that illusion that you're eating something not healthy. And by doing the salting method, you eliminate that bitterness as well. Hey, Minnesota Steve, have you bought your OnlyPants shirt yet? As you know, my merch store has locations in Canada. And if I'm not mistaken, you're still in the 80s, aren't you? I'm pretty sure Kazakhstan is still in the 80s. I mean, I've seen your car. That car's from the 80s. Those are looking good. Do we have any questions, folks? Oh, I love it. I love that you changed your name. Oh, no, never mind. I changed your name. No, but you can watch the repeat when I'm done. Yeah, well, I mean, there's a Beacons link in all my profiles. Or you can go to onlypans.com, spelled with a 0, not an O. You know, copyright stuff. And you can pick up your merch. And all of you here, I mean, if you like, because aside from one of you, I don't know who the one person is, all of you are on Emery's Patreon. So if you use code Emery2021, here, you know what? Let me type this in real quick. If you use that code right there, Emery2021, you get a discount on all your merch. I'm sure whoever sees this after will still use the code. I don't care. It's a discount. You get a discount on merch. It does not expire. It will not go away. It is not as much as someone like Sherry, who supports me on Clapper. You know, she's part of my Clapper fam and supports me monetarily on that app, thus for earning her special advantages like vinyls for free and discounts on all her merch purchases. And, you know, she gets to have me follow her on Clapper and, you know, the things. All those things. Come here in Minnesota Steve. Is that it, Chris? There. Minnesota Steve. Minnesota Steve, everybody. There you go. I'm glad you enjoy them, Jennifer. And if you don't like them where they at, they are reusable. If they stick a little too hard, just hit them with a little hair dryer, and you can peel them right up and re-stick them somewhere else. Uh, I don't know how many times, but I know I moved them around on my computer 5 or 6 times, and they still stuck. So. Yes, the sticker link is still in my profile as well. See? I have my display ones out here. You know, so you can get an entire sheet of reusable vinyls. There are 10 on there. It's $10 for the whole sheet. That includes shipping to you. There's a link in my bio on in my beacons. Right at the top it says vinyls. You can buy a half sheet of random stickers. Like, I have a folder of a bunch of cut up ones that I just pick 5 at random and I put them in an envelope and I send them to you. You can buy a whole sheet and I'll send you a whole sheet in this beautiful manila envelope. This actually has stickers in it already. These are prepped and ready to go. All I have to do is print the label and slap it on. They usually get shipped out the next day, except for on Sunday. I can't ship, so they get shipped out Monday. Any questions before we go, folks? Because I've done all I can do. Well, Sherry, you just let me know. I know you're trying to keep them away from your husband, too, so maybe I'll send them in a different envelope. I'll cut them up for you, and I'll send them in a different envelope so he doesn't know what they are. No, it's like 14. I know your money's worth less there in Kansas. But on that note, it also costs me a lot more to mail them to you too, Chris. And I'm not going to charge you extra for mailing. Because I'm a good person, Minnesota Steve. I'm just not a very nice person. Alright, folks. Well, like I said, it's been real and it's been fun. It really hasn't been real fun because, I mean, it has. It's been fun, but I stand here in front of a computer screen and a camera and another camera and a microphone, and yeah, I talk to myself, basically. I'm crazy, so it's okay, but yeah, I'm kidding. Alright. As always, smoke meat, not meth. Have a wonderful fucking day, night, whatever it is, wherever you are. It's 8 o'clock here, so it's night. It's 8 o'clock for Sherry. It's 9 o'clock for Peggy. I don't know what time it is in Kansas stand right now for Chris, but yeah. Obviously, the rerun will be up on TikTok or on Twitch and YouTube. Look for the pictures tomorrow on Instagram of the finished plate. I will do a final touch-up video where you can see how I finish my plates. I'll put that on TikTok as well. Merch links are in the bio. Oh, see, it's 7 o'clock for Jennifer. It's still nighttime. And I hope you enjoyed my food porn. Thank you for viewing my OnlyPants. Have a great night.